People are story making machines. From the time we're born till the time we die, from infancy and on, we are literally making stories, subconsciously or consciously. From infancy, as soon as we're born into the world, we start crying and we make the unconscious story that when we cry, we get held, we get milk, we get whatever. Creates a story. We start playing with the sounds coming out of our mouths, and at some point we come across mama and dada, and we see how lit up they get. And so we create a story in our minds that it makes them happy to say those sounds. So we start doing it more and more and more. And that just grows and develops over time. It's a beautiful thing, really. Stories, when they're accepted, become beliefs. So the stories that we tell ourselves dictate what it is that we will experience and to what level we're able to make it. We are created in the likeness and image of God, and one thing that is very, very clear within the context of God's words within the Bible, with the words that He has breathed life into, is that He loves a good story. I mean, that just shows up in things such as Jonah and the whale. Like, he didn't listen, he gets eaten by a whale, he's gone for 3 days in the belly of it, and then he gets spit back up, and then he goes and preaches it, and then he sits up against the wall, and he has a plant grow over his head. Like, that is absolutely beautiful. But it is a class A definition of God being a story-making machine as well. He loves a good story just as we do. So there's a high expression and a low expression to being story-making machines. We can use the stories that we tell ourselves and we tell each other to, on the low side of things, cage ourselves and cage others and limit what's possible. Or we could take it to the high side. We could shift that perspective and shift that lens and build each other up and build ourselves up by the grace of God in such a magnificent, magnificent way. So it's inevitable that we as human beings will create stories for people, places, things. But the question is, to what direction do we choose to create those stories? Do we choose to use our stories that we create and that we tell ourselves and that we accept to create hell for ourselves and potentially even for others? Or do we use those stories that we tell ourselves and others to be able to build heaven on earth? That is a magnificent question that each one of us should ponder, it seems. To what ends are we creating stories? To what ends are we making stories? And to what ends are we telling stories? To ourselves, to our brothers, to our sisters. People are story-making machines. Thank you.